My car didn't feel right. About an hour before it died. It wasn't anything obvious. No check engine light. No sputter. Just little things, like the air getting colder inside the cab, even though my heater was on. Or the radio slipping between stations like something didn't want me to hear music. I'd taken the back roads home. I told myself it was because traffic was bad, but truth is, I needed quiet. I needed a stretch of road where no one expected anything from me, where the only sound was tires and the wind and a steady buzz of the night. The road I ended up on wasn't marked. No streetlights, no mailboxes, no driveways, just pine trees pressed close on both sides and a black ribbon of asphalt cutting through them. My headlights threw long, weak beams into the fog that had started forming low along the ditches. I passed a county line sign, half buried in kudzu. Welcome to Redacted County. The name was peeled off like it had never mattered. I remember thinking, that's odd. Who peels the name off a county sign? Then my radio went dead. Not a fade, not a static. A hard cut, like a plug yanked from a wall. The dashboard clock blinked once and went black. My phone charger light died too, even though it was still plugged in. The air in the cab went cold enough to raise goosebumps on my arms. I looked down at my gauges. The fuel needle dropped to empty, then jumped back up, and then it dropped again. I tapped the dash, stupid reflex, and that's when the engine died. No cough, no struggle, no warning, just gone. The steering wheel stiffened in my hands. My headlights dimmed to a weak yellow. I guided the car onto the shoulder and let it coast until the road to a stop. When the car settled, I realized something else had stopped too. The insects. A moment ago, the night had been full of usual noise, crickets, cicadas, distant frogs, and some unseen water. Now there was nothing. Even the trees seemed to hold their own breath. Silence pressed in so hard it felt like it had weight. I sat there with both hands on the wheel, heart pounding, listening for the engine to come back. It didn't. I turned the key. Nothing. No click. No grind. Dead. Come on, I muttered. Don't do this out here. And that's when I saw him. He stood on the opposite side of the road, just beyond the white line where the ditch stopped into the shadow. Tall, still, a figure shaped like a man, but wearing clothes that felt wrong for this century. Wide-brimmed hat, long coat, hands at his sides. Couldn't see his face, the brim hid it, and the darkness did the rest. But I knew, deep in my chest, down where my instincts lived, that he was watching me. I grabbed my phone. No signal. Not even emergency. The screen flickered between the signal bar and none, like it couldn't decide whether to lie. I swallowed, opened the door, and stepped out onto the shoulder. Cold air hit me, like the inside of a freezer. My breath came out in a pale puff that looked too bright in the headlights. Hey, I called out, across the road. My voice sounded too loud, too alive. My car broke down. You got a phone. The man didn't wave, didn't approach, didn't speak. He lifted one hand, slow and deliberate, and pointed. Not at me, down the road, away from where I'd come from, like he was telling me which direction to go. I took a step toward the road, squinting past him. Is there a house? Is there a gas station? The man's arm didn't waver. He pointed harder, like I was too stupid to understand. Then, just as I shifted my weight across the road, another shape appeared in the headlights behind me. Not a person. A shadow that didn't belong to anything. My stomach clenched, the air got colder, and I realized the Watcher, because that's what my mind had named him. Instantly, wasn't pointing me towards safety. He was pointing me away from something. I turned slowly. At first, I saw only fog and trees. Then my headlights caught the movement on the highway, just beyond the beam where the darkness was thicker. A tall figure stepped into the view like it had been standing there the whole time, just waiting for me to look. Wide-brimmed hat. But this one smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile. It was the kind you see on animals that's decided you're not dangerous. My engine didn't sputter. I didn't try. It died like it had been cut. And the smiling figure on the highway, on the county line, lifted something thin and bright in his hand. A straight razor. He didn't rush me. He didn't have to. He just tilted his head like he was considering. The watcher across the road made a sharp motion with his hand. 2 quick gestures like he was shooting a dog away. My legs moved before my brain caught up. I ran. Not towards the stalker, not towards the empty road, but towards the trees on the opposite side of where the watcher stood. And as I sprinted, I saw it. A driveway I hadn't noticed before, gravel. A curve through the fog, porch lights glowing warm. A house. It looked like it had been waiting. A hand-painted sign leaned on the post of the edge of the drive. Stillwater bed and breakfast. Vacancy. I hit the gravel, lungs burning, and wrist. I glanced back. The smiling man on the highway stepped forward once. Slow, deliberate, and then stopped, as if an invisible boundary held him to the road. He lifted the razor slightly, like a promise. Then the porch light flickered, and my view of him blurred behind the fog. When I looked for the watcher, he was gone. No footsteps, no rustle, just absence. And then somebody flipped a switch, and the insect started again. The night resumed its normal noise like it had only paused to watch me make a choice. I stared up at the Stillwater's porch lights, warm, inviting, and somehow hungry. I walked in anyway. Because what else do you do when the road behind you is smiling? The gravel crunched under my boots as I made my way up to the drive. Fog thickened the closer I got. Not rolling in from anywhere, just hanging low like the ground was exhaling. My breath came out in pale puffs that didn't match the temperatures I thought it should be. That's when I noticed the cars. Old ones, new ones. Some rusted down to frames, tires melted into the earth. A station wagon with wood paneling. A pickup with a cracked windshield. A sedan with moss growing along the hood. And then, like a joke the universe told on purpose, a newer SUV with a modern plate, dust on its windows like it had been sitting for months. A parking lot of wrong turns. The porch boards creaked under my weight, the wood complaining, familiar as any southern house. I raised my hand to knock. The door opened before my knuckles touched it. The woman stood there smiling, middle-aged, dark hair pulled back, a simple dress and an apron like she had been cooking. Her eyes were kind, but there was tiredness in them that felt deeper than sleep. "You made it before dark," she said. I blinked at her. It's after midnight." Her smile twitched, like she realized she'd been smoking from habit. "Feels dark enough, don't it?" "Come in, honey, you're freezing." "I just need a phone," I said. "My car broke down and there's a man." Her eyes flickered past me towards the driveway, toward the road beyond. "He saw you," she said softly. My throat tightened. "Who?" But she stepped aside like the question didn't matter. "Come on, we'll get you warmed up." Warmth hit me the moment I crossed the threshold. Fire crackled somewhere. Old wood, clean linen, coffee, cinnamon. A house that knew how to pretend it was normal. In the parlor, a man sat by a fireplace with a newspaper folded in his lap. He looked up slowly, like he'd been expecting me. He wore wire-rimmed glasses and a cardigan that made him look like somebody's gentle granddad, but his eyes were tired in a way I couldn't place. "Evening," he said. "Another traveler." Another? Like this happened often." The woman offered her hand. "Marin," The man rose to shook mine, Caleb. Their hands were warm, human. For a moment, I almost believed I'd just gotten lucky. Then, I noticed the others. A couple near the stairs holding hands too tight. An older man standing at the window staring out into the dark like he could hear something I couldn't. A woman with a scarf wrapped high around her neck, clutching a mug with both hands. Every one of them watched me. Not suspicious, not hostile, just tentative. Like they were waiting to see how I'd react. Marin guided me towards the kitchen. We got coffee. Soup if you're hungry. I really just need to call somebody, I said. My wife, my buddy, someone. Marin's smile stayed, but her shoulders stiffened. Phone lines can be fickle out here. Caleb followed behind us. You can rest tonight. We'll figure out your car in the morning. About that, I said. I'd rather not be stuck. Marin cut in, gentle but firm. We don't let guests leave once they arrive, not until morning. I laughed because I didn't know what else to do. I'm sorry? Caleb's expression didn't change. It's for your safety. Safety from what? I asked. Marin's eyes flicked to the front door like it might open on its own. From the road, she said. I thought about the watcher, about the smiling man with the razor, held to the highway like a dog on a chain. I swallowed. Okay. I said, fine, just for the night. Marin's shoulders loosened like she had been holding her breath. Good, she said. Good choice. And for the first time since I stepped onto the porch, I felt like maybe I made the wrong one. Sleep came heavy and wrong. The bed was soft, the sheets smelled clean, the room was warm. Everything about it said rest. But my body reacted like I'd laid down in a ditch. I drifted, half awake, listening to the old house settle. Creak. Tick. A soft knock somewhere from far away. I sat up in the dark, heart pounding. No second knock came. I lay back down, and the dream took me. I stood barefoot on cold asphalt at the county line. My car behind me with headlights on, but they didn't shine forwards. They shined sideways, like they were trying not to look at what was ahead. The watcher stood in the road, closer than before. He lifted his hand and made a slicing motion across his own throat. Not a threat, a warning. And then behind him the fog shifted, and the other man stepped into view. Wide-brimmed hat, pale grin, straight razor catching the light that didn't exist. The stalker leaned toward me like he was smelling the air, and I woke up screaming. Marin was already there, sitting at the edge of the bed like she'd been waiting there the whole time. You shouldn't ignore him, she said softly. My mouth was dry. Who? The watcher, she said. Her eyes flicked toward the window. He tries. Tries to do what? Caleb's voice came from the doorway. To warn. I stared between them. He was on the road before I saw the house. Marin nodded once. That's how it happens. How what happens? I demanded. Silence. Then Caleb said, careful. People make choices when they're scared. Marin stood. Get some sleep. Left me alone, but sleep didn't feel like a gift anymore. Morning didn't feel like morning. Light seeped through the curtains like it had traveled a long distance to get there. The air was warm, but my bones felt cold. Downstairs, the house was awake. Guests moved around with quiet conversation and practiced laughter. If you didn't look too closely, you could pretend it was just a bed and breakfast with odd rules. Then I looked closely. The woman with the scarf laughed at something the young man said, and the scarf slipped just enough for me to see a dark line beneath her collar, like a bruise that never healed. The older man at the window, Edwin, he later told me, rubbed at his wrist constantly like he could still feel cuffs. The young couple held hands so tight their fingers were white, and nobody looked at the mirror hanging crooked in the dining room. I tried not to either. I didn't know why. My body decided it for me. Caleb poured coffee. "How you feeling?" "Like I slept wrong," I said. Marin smiled thinly. "That means you're close." "Close to what?" Caleb's eyes met mine. "Understanding." Edwin chuckled without humor. "Time's a strange thing in this house." "What does that mean?" I asked. He stared out the window. "It means you stop asking." Caleb said softly, "Denial's normal." The word landed wrong. "What'd you say?" Marin set down a plate too hard. "Nothing you need to worry about yet." "Yet," I echoed. Caleb turned towards the front window. His face went still. The road's quiet," he murmured. I listened. The insects had stopped. Even inside you could feel it, like the world beyond the walls had just gone hush. Marin's voice dropped. "Don't go near the windows." A soft thud sounded on the porch. Then another. Footsteps, slow, measured, crossing wood. They stopped. A single knock on the front door. One knock, soft, polite. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. The knock didn't repeat. After a long moment, the footsteps retreated. The insect started again. Caleb let out a breath. Marin's eyes were wet. Edwin muttered, "He's reminding us." "Who?" I whispered. Edwin didn't answer. He didn't have to. Because somewhere deep in my chest, I already knew. I tried to pretend the day was normal after that. I ate soup. I listened to guests talk and half-finished stories. I watched Marin and Caleb move through the house like people doing a job they never applied for. But my thoughts kept circling one thing. The mirror. It hung crooked in the dining room like it refused to sit straight. The glass looked old, not dirty, not cracked, just wrong. Like it had watched too much. I caught myself staring at it. Marin noticed. She grabbed my arm. "Don't." "Why?" I asked, sharper than what I meant. Her face softened a fraction. "Because once you see it, you can't unsee it." "See what?" Caleb's voice was gentle. Your truth." I laughed, to prove I wasn't scared. "I know what I look like." Caleb's eyes didn't leave mine. "Do you?" Then the road went quiet again. Instantly, the porch light flickered. Marin froze. Caleb's head snapped toward the hallway. The guests all stiffened like they were listening to the same sound. Footsteps in the gravel. Crunch, pause, crunch. Coming closer. Marin whispered, "He's here." "Who?" My voice cracked. Caleb answered like it hurt to say, "The stalker." The front door swung open with a force that sent cold air rolling through the house. The fire in the fireplace sputtered like it was afraid. He stood in the doorway, tall, hat brim low, pale grin too wide, like it belonged on something that learned how to smile by watching humans do it. In his hand, a straight razor. It gleamed. Marin backed away, shaking her head. Caleb stepped between her and the door. "Not inside," he said, voice firm. "You know the rule." Stalker tilted his head, amused. He took one step forward, then stopped at the threshold lock. An invisible thin line held him. His grin widened. He lifted the razor slightly as if showing me what he could do. Then his gaze settled on me. Marin's voice was desperate. Please, don't go out there. Caleb, quieter. If you leave, he'll finish it. I backed away from the door, straight toward the mirror without meaning to. Denial is a dumb animal. It runs straight into fences just to prove it's real. Marin grabbed my wrist. Please. I pulled free. I'm not playing this game. I faced the mirror. For half a second, the reflection didn't move with me. My body shifted, the reflection lagged, and then it caught up with me and I saw it. A gash across my neck. Clean, precise. Deep enough that I should have been drowning in my own blood, but there was no blood. There was no pain, just a wound that looked finished. Like it had happened long enough ago to stop being an emergency and start being a fact. My knees went weak. I lifted my hand to my throat and my fingers touched skin, unbroken, dry. But the mirror showed my fingertips pressing into the edges of that fatal line. No. I whispered. No, that's not. Caleb's voice behind me was soft. Denial's normal. Marin was crying now. Don't go out there. But the front door clicked, unlocked. A cold wind slid through the crack, and I knew the stalker was still outside, waiting like patience itself. I backed toward the doorway because my brain couldn't accept the mirror, because the only way to prove I was alive was to leave. Caleb stepped in front of me. If you cross that threshold... I just need to get to my car, I snapped. This is insane. Marin shook her head hard. Your car's not there anymore. I shoved past them. I tore the door open and ran onto the porch. Cold slapped me, gravel crunched under my feet. And then there at the bottom of the steps, hat brim low, razor in hand, waiting like he had promised. I stopped, my lungs locked. He moved fast, faster than something tall should move. The razor flashed. A cold line opened across my throat. For a second, I didn't feel it. Then, I felt everything. My hands flew up, but there was no fixing it. The porch light smeared into long yellow streaks. I heard Marin scream from the doorway. I saw Caleb reach for me. And then, the dark rose up like water and swallowed me whole. I woke up in the bed. I bolted upright, hands at my throat, gasping like I'd been underwater. No blood, no pain. But my skin had crawled with the memory of the cut. The door stood open. Firelight spilled in from the hallway. Downstairs, someone screamed. Not a startled scream, a desperate one. Raw and broken. Like a person waking up from a nightmare they couldn't escape. I stumbled into the hall and down the stairs. Marin and Caleb sat in the parlor as if they'd been waiting. Marin's hands were folded into her lap. Caleb stared into the fire like it was the only thing keeping him anchored. The scream upstairs cut off with a choking sob. Marin didn't flinch. Caleb didn't look up. They'd heard it before. He killed me. I rasped. Caleb finally lifted his eyes. Yes. And my voice cracked. I'm dead? Marin spoke gently. Yes. What does that mean? Marin's eyes looked towards the front door like it was a living thing. It means he's marked you. And as long as he exists, you don't go where you're supposed to go. Caleb added, low and tired. You, come here. I stared at them. Why are you here? Marin's smile was sad. Because we tried to help. Caleb's mouth tightened. He looked toward the window like he could still see it. She was first. Marin didn't correct him, but she didn't deny it. Caleb swallowed hard. I saw it through that window. He came up the driveway because he had a path. I tried to ward him off, tried to do what caretakers do. His eyes met mine, and then he cut me too. My stomach twisted. Marin spoke like she said this 1,000 times and hated every word. This house used to be a way station. We guided spirits through, helped them accept what happened, helped them move on. And now? I whispered. Caleb's voice was empty. Now we keep people from running outside and dying again. The sound drifted from upstairs. A sob. A whispered prayer. And then silence. Marin stood. Come. She led me down a hallway to a dining room. She didn't make me look at the mirror. She just stood beside it. You didn't know you were cut, she said. Most don't. That's how he does it. He doesn't want you to understand until it's too late. Why? I asked. Why would he? Caleb answered from behind us. Because denial makes you walk out the front door. I turned. He can't come inside. Marin nodded. He can't cross the threshold. Not without being invited. But he can walk the driveways. I said, remembering. Yes, she whispered. As long as he has a pathway. The pieces clicked into place like a trap closing. The house was safe, but only inside. I looked toward the front door and suddenly understood what that polite knock meant. He couldn't enter, so he waited. He reminded. He tempted. And when someone's fear beat their sense, they ran outside and he did it again. Edwin appeared in the doorway, rubbing his wrists. He looked at me with weary sympathy. Fresh one. I didn't answer. The scarf woman stepped into view behind him. Her scarf slipped slightly and I saw the dark line under her throat. She caught my stare and pulled it back up, but not out of shame, out of habit. We all thought we were alive, she said softly. Edwin nodded. Some of us still do, even after the mirror. Marin's voice turned firmer. Listen to me. Living people don't see us here. Not truly. This house doesn't appear to them the way it appears to you. I swallowed. So, if someone drives past, they see trees, Caleb said, fog, an empty stretch of road. Sometimes they feel like they should turn around. And the watcher? Marin's eyes softened. He tries to keep them from meeting the stalker. He appears before the house anyway. My mind flashed back to the watcher pointing away. He was warning me, I whispered. Yes, Marin said, and you ran anyway. Something in my chest broke a little because she didn't say it cruelly. She said it like a fact she'd watched it happen 100 times.